Hi, welcome back to Keep It Dirty, a podcast where my guests share their life living functionally and sustainably, and the why behind their experiences navigating through our ever changing environment. And I am your host, Leslie Dowling. I'm a corporate speaker sharing how one can jumpstart your path to increased revenue and productivity through restorative health techniques. And today it is a pleasure to introduce my guests, Jeff Miller and Todd Thurman, co-founders of Free Yourself, fine fragrances for self-discovery and social causes. So thank you for taking the time out of your day. I am so excited to finally have you on as guests. And you have such incredible, interesting backgrounds and paths of life of what you did prior to doing what you're doing today. And we connected at a show in New York City. And as I was passing your booth, I just loved the way that you were promoting yourself and all of these sayings and powerful words, and it just caught my attention. So thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Leslie. Thank you so much for your generous introduction. We really appreciate it. We're so excited to be here today.
So
It's
we'd love
wonderful.
to hear. Yeah, we'd love to hear if you could share, if Jeff wants to start a little bit about yourself and your passion and your drive as to what, you're doing today.
Great. Well, Todd and I are husbands. We've been together for over 27 years, and 27 glorious years.
Oh,
So,
yay.
honestly, and we're the parents to a almost 25-year-old son who we adopted at a year old, and he's amazing. Lives in Los Angeles, and we just Justin and our son Justin, he and I just spent about 5 weeks working together on a project in Europe, a film project, and which was incredible to be able to do that. And before that, what Todd was, and he'll tell you about his background, but he and Justin got to work together for several months this summer at his job. And it's incredible because both of us see ourselves as storytellers, and our son is a storyteller. And I think that's pretty much what drives us is connection, uh, well-being, life satisfaction, um, and really the pursuit of the importance of everyone's individual story, and that everyone matters, that everyone has a story, and that everyone's story matters. And for us, fragrance, and I'll jump and talk about my background, but for us, fragrance it's so exciting to think about fragrance as an invitation to storytelling, and how fragrance applies to everyone's story as an individual story. They certainly cross over, but we love how the story of fragrance unfolds both collectively and individually. And so it's something that we really have been passionate about for most of our lives, but really embraced it a little over a year ago and said we're going to do this and launch this brand. We've had the Free Yourself domain for 15 years, and this has been on our agenda. Um, my background is I'm an actor first and foremost. I went to school at USC as an actor, dropped out of college, ended up touring around the United States in a musical, moved to France with $175 in my pocket and a very dark attitude with a one-way ticket. So I was 20 years old, lived in Paris for about a year and a half, and moved back to Los Angeles and met my mentor, Sandra Seacat, who passed away about a year ago, and was really one of the world's best acting coaches, and coached Jessica Lange and Marlo Thomas and Laura Dern, Mickey Rourke, and Andrew Garfield, and really changed my life. And I believe that that's how I met Todd. And ultimately, after selling a screenplay or optioning a screenplay at a studio with a writing partner, ended up producing independent films, and ultimately ended up in advertising, and started at the very bottom and worked my way up. And now I've had my own company for over 14 years now, Interrogate. And we also, my business partner and I are also managing directors of another production company, the Sweet Shop. And so we represent an array of directors like Vince Gilligan from Breaking Bad, as well as Edward Berger from All Quiet on the Western Front, and really some incredible directors on both rosters. And so I ended up going back to school, getting my undergrad degree, and then ultimately ended up getting a master's degree in theater lab at RADA, the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art in London. And now I'm just completing the MAP degree, the Master of Applied Positive Psychology degree at UPenn with Marty Seligman, who is really one of the co-founders of positive psychology. And I think that is something that we really implemented, not even implemented, I would say that is the core of the brand. It's the essence of what we are striving, whether we have it down or not. It's kind of every move that we make is with the idea of flourishing, wellness, well-being, improving life satisfaction, and how do we do that through fragrance, through gifting, or even the idea of an offering, and how and what an offering, whether it's us giving the offering, whether it's us receiving the offering, and what that means.
Wow, I'm blown away. You are certainly a trailblazer and never stop. I just love that you just continue educating and schooling, and that's amazing. Kudos to you. So,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you for sharing that. And Todd,
Oh,
maybe you
not so
could take
excited. Trust me.
I couldn't do it without this saint.
Oh,
Rock here. This is rock.
yeah, you need, yeah,
However,
somebody has to be.
and I grew up in a small town in central Illinois. Went to a small liberal arts college. Studied theater arts and was going to be a lawyer. Then took an acting class. Was like, this is what I want to do. Had moved and graduated from school, moved to Chicago, then moved out to LA, and and I had a great time. The acting thing, wasn't really kind of I realized it really wasn't for me. And however, of course, I was waiting tables, as I was an actor in Los Angeles, and just things happened one after another, and I became the maitre d' of a place, and then I became the manager of a place, and then I became the general manager of a restaurant. So, I've been in hospitality for literally the past, many, 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 many years, and that is truly what my calling. I found out that that's what I loved, that's what I wanted to do, and that's how I lived my life. And until we, started doing this, company and our candles and our fragrances, and so it's been great.
Humility is one of his top character strengths. It's probably not as high on my top character strength. So I'm going to just call out that he was for over 16 years was the GM at Morton's and ran the Vanity Fair Academy Awards party for
Wow.
that whole time. And when Morton's, Peter Morton, the founder of the Hard Rock Cafe, when those doors closed, uh, uh, Kraft approached Todd and asked him to come over to Kraft LA. And so
Mhm.
he was there for 16 years, right next to CAA and running it. And I will tell you, and for all the people that have been coming to Kraft and Morton's for 30 years, I never heard the man come home and say a negative word about the business and the restaurant ever. So, I mean, that's the essence of who he is. He loves hospitality. He loves all of his customers and clientele, and prides himself on that. And his staff absolutely loves him because that's what he's about. And I think it's so important that that is really the essence of Todd. It's such an important part of who we are as a team. Yeah, and he inspires me.
And as a couple, and actually now as business partners, it really has, it really is. We are like the and in child rearing, in life, in family, in all of those things. We are like this, even though we're different people, we are like this, and we get each other, we understand each other, we learn from each other, and it really is, and it's, we have the same, truly, through all the stuff of life, and which we all deal with and have to handle, we truly have this same goal of, we want to make a difference. We want to help people be, and I don't want to say be better, but be better, be freer. I mean, it's like, it really is something that now that we're in this part of our lives, this is what we're about.
Yeah. And you both are so passionate. You could just see it, passionate about life, just embracing people, and just the wisdom that you have just, embodied over the years. Not many people can say that they love their job, or, they get up every day and they bring home the bacon, but are they really passionate, and
Yeah.
they find what they really want to do in life? And like you said, you really, we get it. It's like, life is short. Do something that you really love to do.
Yeah.
Um, and when you were bringing up like fragrance, I just know, as a little girl, it was so powerful. Just waking up in the morning and smelling Dunhill as my father was running down the steps to go off to work, and growing up in New York and going, and it's no longer there, at Rockefeller Center, and they had the store right there, and just it was such a beautiful like thing to just, my father looking at all the different products and testing, and it was so cool. And my mother was Balmain, that she loved that. They were in the fashion industry, and I think that's why I love fragrance, and it brings back you, a lot of people, to their formative years of maybe their
Yes.
parents or somebody. And I think that is such a powerful thing, the fragrance and your candles. So maybe you could share with us, the steps of what was the catalyst to really get it going, like finally, even though you had this name.
Well, I think the certainly positive psychology, and Todd just said about being our it's about being our best selves. I mean, again, the idea that that we all matter, and we all have a story, and you know what, this is so important to say, is life is tricky. Life is challenging. The reason our 300 word phrase block that we have is everything from dead serious to super cheeky. And even in a given day, our life really ranges up and down from that. And sometimes it's just great to just be playful, to kind of, uh, the British saying, take the P out of it. But, really to kind of just like poke fun at ourselves and just go, yeah, you know what? That's something that I got going on. That's something in my life. And so when we said, what's the best way for us to, also that times feel quite divisive. Look, we want to change the world. We're not fooling ourselves. This is like the minuscule increments, one thing at a time. It's our intention. We've stumbled. We're going to continue stumbling. That includes our packaging, sustainable packaging. It includes green chemistry in our products. It includes how we say words to people. And that we're not, uh, you know, it's we're not here to tell anybody what to do, because we're just stumbling through life ourselves. It's an offering, and it's a take it or leave it. Certainly in 300 words or word phrases, you know, half, three quarters, 90%, 95% may not apply to you, and probably is the case. It's like, but it's more about, yeah, just like, let's what do we all have in common? Is it's in positive psychology, Aristotle, the idea of community, that we need each other. We need each other, right? And that really is an Aristotelian kind of pillar, is the importance of relationships. And we are very divided right now. COVID has divided us. Politics have divided us. Um, this is, if we can at least just start kind of poking fun, reconnecting again, saying, how are you doing? Looking at each other, connecting in the eyes, and all of that. We felt as though, we moved to Vermont. We sold our place in LA. We bought a house in Vermont. We had a place for 16 years here as a vacation home. So we're like, how do we start unfolding this story where we can start connecting, reconnecting with each other? I think this is a long road, and hopefully it's a fast road. Hopefully it's a fast road, because we all want to do that. We all want to reconnect again. And, fragrance is personal fragrance, both as a home fragrance or as wearing it, but it's also something that's very social. And whether it's gifting or an offering, people commenting on it, when you walk into a room, what is that experience? When someone walks into your home, what is that experience? And so that idea of reconnecting us or offering a gift, or even if someone gave this to you a while ago, and then you just see the inside of our boxes has this word block on it, on all of our boxes. And even if you see that, where does that take you to? What's triggering you today? What's going on with you today? What's wearing on you? What's heavy on you today? Can you just be with that? So I'm hoping I kind of got to it, but through fragrance, we wanted to do that, and we found that the story, when we started to get into story with just candles and home fragrances, it was very important that if we were going to take this dive, it needed to be a deep dive.
Yeah, so I was going to say,
Yeah.
add to that, what the catalyst of this, first of all, was let's get to Vermont, let's slow down, let's kind of retire, but wouldn't it be fun to make candles out of our barn, right? That was kind of like, that sounds great, romantic, great, move to Vermont, let's start making candles, let's really, let's because we first thought years ago when we had the free yourself idea, we thought about maybe we'd be doing fashion. Maybe we have, t-shirts, sweatshirts with the word block plastered all over everything. That might still happen at some point. But then we thought, you know, let's really start focusing in on our love for fragrance and what we really, and because that's how more people are going to relate to things than just wearing a t-shirt, you know? And so we thought, let's just do this out of our barn. We'll make candles. But with Jeff and I, it's kind of like, you know what? We can't just make candles. We have to have perfumes. We have to have a brand. We have to have this look. We have to, and so we had to. We were like all in, and now now here we are. So it's been quite the journey, but it's been amazing.
Wow. And for both of you, was there one role model in your life that really stood out, that kind of gave you this mindset of like, the world is our oyster, like go for it, pursue your dreams? Or was this something that happened in your, as a kid or as a teenager, that you went through something and you're like, you know what, I'm going to make a change. This is what I want and I'm going to go for it. So maybe you could both share. Did you have like a role model or anyone?
So, so I think for me is probably my parents, in the fact that it's just everything and anything I did or decided to do was okay. And they supported that, whether it was moving, whether it was changing my career to be an actor, whether it was, okay, now I'm going to make music, now I'm going to learn to play guitar and piano, so I mean, it's all of those, not once were they like, are you out of your mind, son? It's like, what are you doing? But that's the real kind of, and that's the real kind of, I'm not sure if it's the passion they gave me, but it's the real kind of just grounding that they gave me, in that anything is possible.
That's powerful. Anything is possible.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how about you, Jeff? Was there anybody that?
My mom is ridiculous. I mean, she's one of the great human beings. She lives here with us, and
She is.
we
Oh,
have
that's
so much mad love for her. And she would know that I would say Sandra Seacat. You know, I met Sandra when I was 24,
mm,
and she's been my mentor ever since until she passed away last year. And um, I think she opened me to the idea of a world of adventure that just when whether it's approaching a script, whether it's approaching a word. My other company is named Interrogate, and the idea of really just asking, why, and the curiosity of why and what lies beyond, and you know that life's an adventure, whether it's just meeting someone across from us and learning about who they are. We love Vermont for that reason. They're the most incredible people in Vermont. And when you talk to them, you're just like blown away by their authenticity and how creative they are just in how they look at the world and all of that. So, yeah, I would say Sandra is basically, once I met her, um, anything was possible.
And
wow.
if I can to add, Leslie,
Sure.
to this, and it's really not about a mentor, or it's just kind of like just kind of maybe like a way of being, if you will. But through my career, through where I worked and where I managed, I mean, it was I've met everyone. I mean, both restaurants were very high profile entertainment industry
Hmm.
restaurants. People would politicians would come and have fundraisers there and all. I mean, so I've known and not that I'm friends with most of these people, right? But I've become friends with a few, and certainly I've had many interactions with a lot of people.
Yeah.
And listen, whether that's famous people, politicians, or not, or people coming in for dinner that are regulars, or just people coming in for the first time to the restaurant, it never really mattered. It's what I've realized is that all we all really want is kind of like what Jeff was saying: is
Mhm.
connection, love, support, to be heard, and truthfully, most people really want to make a difference.
Yeah.
And I've seen it through my whole career. That's really what's kept me going, in that, it's a restaurant. I mean, really, it's like I work in a restaurant, but it's like, that really is the case. And that is, so anyway, I just wanted to say that it's like, it is a common universal human being thing. And I think that everyone needs to realize that, and that there is a way to free yourself and flourish.
Hmm.
I've been working on freeing myself and flourishing my whole life. So
I love that. And I had another question before I circle around to then ask you about people that are interested in starting their own business, like some of the hiccups or things to prepare themselves if
great.
they want to do like products. But do you both have a hidden talent or hobby that nobody knows about that maybe you'd want to share on Keep It Dirty podcast?
Oh, you just froze.
Oh,
No,
yeah. There we go.
questions.
Yeah. So that's my question. I ask all my guests any hidden talents or hobbies that we don't know about.
Well, not really. That my voice, I can sing, like I can sing pretty good, but it's
Todd used to record when we first met. He
yeah.
was he laid down a CD of country western
I
music,
used to
and
write
he was
music,
great. He would
sing,
write
play
songs and
guitar.
play that. And
Oh,
when we
wow.
came to his apartment one time, Dolly Parton is one of the most lovely people in the universe, as we all know. And we came back to his house, but I had already moved in with him at that point. And on the recording.
It was a message machine.
It was
right?
a message machine from Dolly, and Dolly was like, Todd, I just listened to your CD, and and she just went on. We were like, we can never ever let this go. We have to hold on to this forever. But yeah, he's got a good secret there.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Not out of completely out of no warm ups in my vocal cords or nothing like they used to be, but but it's still fun. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. And how about you, Jeff?
Well, I've been producing now for decades, and that's been my, but I was like, no, I'm an actor first and foremost. So, I got my SAG card when I was 16, and so I decided that I was gonna, pursue it, and so I went back to school, got my undergrad degree, and then I trained rigorously while I was running businesses and behind the doors with improv, with clowning, with voice. And so was fortunate enough to study with Kristen Linkletter for voice, who is a legend. She just passed away as well. And and trained knowing that I could not go in and audition with 20 somethings and 30 somethings at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art and get in. So I spent 3 years and then was fortunate to get in, and it was really one of the most incredible experiences. And last year, I created and produced and acted in a show in London in the Vault Festival with an incredible actor. And it was about the murder of Ahmaud Arbery, the young black man who was murdered in South Georgia. The two of us played about 20 different roles, and it was a verbatim piece. So it's the secret's out of the bag, I suppose, Leslie.
Yeah. Well, that's congratulations on that, and thank you for sharing.
He hasn't yet, but in recent years, but he's a marathoner too.
Oh, very cool. Yeah. That's important. The body was meant to move. So kudos to you. Are there many marathons in Vermont?
No,
or do you come to New York?
There's like 5Ks though.
Oh, cool. That's good.
There's
So-
the Ironman in Lake Placid. I'm signed up for the Ironman in Lake Placid this summer.
Wow.
I cannot do. I have not been able to train with running these businesses and getting things up and going, and it was causing me more stress to not get my training in. So maybe next year.
No, yeah, good luck with that. That's exciting. And yeah, you do have a lot that you're both juggling. So for people, there are a lot of young people that are just such solopreneurs, and I love the Gen Zs, probably because my 3 sons were all born during that time, and they just have such open, creative minds, and they're not afraid to Google, to start research, startup companies. And I know a lot of young people, they want to keep Mother Earth clean. And I think that's also a passion of all of us. And that's something I speak into when I lecture. So what are the things or the tools that some of the young people, or even people our age that are reinventing ourselves, should just keep an eye on for hiccups, or, just planning, or what is it that goes into starting like a business like what you have just done?
I'll say 2 things. One is it's not a hobby, and you can't, you can approach it like that maybe to start with, but if you're really serious about it, it really does turn into a full-time job that you need to be passionate about, because if you're not passionate about it, you won't continue. So find something you're passionate about, whatever that is, and
True.
give it all you've got. I mean, it takes a lot of support from other people. But for us, it really was just asking the questions, asking anybody we knew, introducing ourselves to people who we want to mentor us in our business, and really just approaching it as we do in life, is like it's you just go for it. You just go for it. And hiccups, it's like there are hiccups for sure.
Yeah, there are hiccups.
The boxes come printed wrong. How did this happen? What?
Sure. Yeah.
all of that stuff, and you've got to keep your cool. However,
especially if your company's called Free Yourself.
Yeah, that's good. Ooh, not breathing.
Whoa, easy. I'm going to go take a breath. I'm going to go meditate.
I'm going to free myself from that.
Do a 5K. No.
Yeah. But it really is. It's there are hiccups. You just have to get through them with grace and faith.
Yeah,
It's easier said than done
absolutely.
sometimes, for sure.
I'll quickly add.
Yeah.
I mean, Todd's right. I mean, I love in positive psychology about a calling.
Mm.
And I think it's an adventure, and I think Gen Z really is. They rock it when it comes to this. I mean, they this is what I think what their essence is. They don't really need people's permission. I love that. It's like
Yeah.
you don't need people's permission. I think that's something that I'm always learning from that generation, and kind of there is I know that they have certain things going on maybe when it comes to fear, but I also find them incredibly fearless with just saying, well, this is what I think. Well, this is what I'm going for. I think there's a certain amount of fearlessness that is required, and you stumble and you fall and do it. But I basically look at it very much like acting, that
Mhm.
you or even in out you train, you do as much research, you dive in deep, you ask anybody questions, you don't be afraid, you really know your material, you really get it down, and then you let it all go and you throw it to the wind. And then see, and be ready to just turn on a dime and see what the breeze brings you, because you
Right.
know, structure is awesome and necessary, and yet we want the freedom to really be able to explore and take in information, learn new things, and be inspired by the downtimes and the negative times and the things that don't go our way, so that our new doors open.
Hmm. Yeah. And I think that resiliency of just getting back up and not giving up
Yeah.
is so incredibly important. And you were saying like the passion, and my passion is having people like you as this community of beautiful individuals that I have just connected through my podcasting. And who knew that I'd be in the top 10% in health and fitness, and that's globally. And it's like it's probably because I just always loved to hear people's stories as a little girl. I just and that's that beautiful connection and that community that, wow, look at that. Like they went through that too. So did I, or loss or whatever, and just to overcome things to make us stronger. So
What?
I love,
Go ahead.
yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
With you saying that too, it's like you have a purpose.
Mm.
We have a purpose. Have a purpose if you're starting something new, whatever it is. But
Yeah.
have a purpose and stay true to yourself.
Absolutely. And can you please share with us these amazing products behind you, and any of the new fragrances, or maybe just share with everybody how they can find your website and to experience all these beautiful products that you have to for everyone to check everything out that you have. So maybe you could share with us a little bit about what's behind you and all the fragrances and
Well,
where we could find you.
I'll let Jeff talk, but I will grab a box just so we can show you what we're talking about, the word block.
Oh, cool.
So
Yeah, and so we have 4 fragrances, and they're the 4 elements, and we've named them in French, but they're earth, water, air, and fire, and terre, air, eau, and feu. And we actually, our mentor, we went to Grasse, France, and we spent time, and we were kind of had a wonderful mentor, Alan Garossi, created some worked on great fragrances like J'adore and JLo's Glow, and then a gazillion others. And he was beyond generous with us. The same thing, we just said, will you teach us? Will you help us? We want to get this right. And then we had beautiful perfumers, Xavier Blazeau and Maud Shabani, And it was really about how do these stories unfold, and things like air. So what I will just say, we created the perfumes first, the eau de parfum first. We did everything that we could to get those right. And what those stories for us, one of the things that we said are, we want anybody that picks us up to be able to say, okay, I get it. Especially the experts, right, who might want to be ready to challenge. Oh, okay, I get this is air. Oh, I get this is earth. Okay, I get it. But wait, what else is going on there, right? What's a twist, a turn in the road, something that takes us off our center, throws us off balance in a really, really good way, right? We have to kind of like it opens us up to exploration and curiosity. That was the biggest thing. So when you think about air, for us this was both the sun on us and that chill. Like if you're outdoors, okay, if I'm in the shade, it's there's just a little bit of a bite. If I'm in the sun, it's just, it's a little bit too warm. And all those things that happen with fragrance in that space when you walk through that, things like that. I mean, we could go deeper on it. Earth, we really wanted that feeling of really, what does it mean to kind of lie on the ground in the woods, to just lie there, look up through the trees? What happens when you walk through the woods and it's raining? What happens when you walk through and it's morning? What happens when it walks through? And can we have a story that unfolds differently for each person, and for each person depending on the space that they're operating in? Challenges with fire. To not be so expected, but we want warmth. We want the passion, that little bit of spice that comes with it, the smoky wood, but really what else is happening? And then we transpose these into the candles. So the candle fragrances are actually based on all of the perfumes. The oils are actually made in Grasse, France, and then they are shipped to us in Vermont, where we mix and pour our candles in Vermont. What we call our hero in our barn. What did I say?
No, you said
okay.
Vermont.
In our barn in Vermont. And our hero candles, what we call our hero candles, are made ceramics. They are one of a kind ceramics that are made in Woodstock, Vermont, at Farmhouse Pottery for us. And they've really done an amazing job of having lots of movement. And you can see that I'm going to bring up two, because you see how they work so beautifully if you have a set, whether tea, cappuccino, and they're really just so brilliant on what they are for that. So they are reusable. Not one is alike. Sometimes, the wax is at different levels in the top for that reasons. But when you see them together, they really are just, they are so incredible. You have to go to Farmhouse Pottery. Their place is so flawless and beautiful, and their vibe is incredible. And every single potter there is an incredible artisan, and they have an amazing vibe, and we love them, and they imbued all kinds of love in our ceramics. So we are super grateful.
And so then to them. We were talking about our word block, right?
Yes.
So this is like the ceramic candle that comes in the box, and that's just the insert. But then inside we have all of our word.
Yeah.
And so what you can do actually is undo this box and like put this on your refrigerator if you want.
Yeah.
Or something, So it's cool. Just kind of, I should have gotten one darker.
Yeah, it's really fun for you. So each one is different on the inside because of the different fragrances.
So that's
our
voted. There's 4 of this size.
Our votive gift size. Here. So you can buy a gift set of all 4 fragrances in the candles.
In like painted glass.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And then each like this here is air. So it's a black logo, white painted glass. But each candle has their own different painted glass and logo. Like fire is white with a gold logo. Earth is a black. Is black here, is black with white.
Yeah. Wow.
And then water is black with a silver logo.
Yeah.
So
freeyourself.com, because that was your original question.
www.freeyourself.com.
www.freeyourself.com. and info it for yourself. Right now, we are lining up and excited to tell you when we can which brick and mortar stores will be in. Right now, it's only available online. Yeah, we're
I feel like I'm on QVC.
yeah.
And here we have.
Yeah.
So
That's wonderful.
yeah.
Well, this has been such. I can't believe that time has flown by, but I just love our conversation. I just love the backgrounds of what you've been doing all this time and how you've grown and evolved. And I love the packaging and reusing, having mugs. What a great idea. So again, thank you for the time that you spent with me today.
Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure and really appreciate it.
And again, for all our viewers and listeners, just remember to get out there with Mother Earth, ground with Mother Earth, and don't forget to keep it dirty.
Yeah.